this is Sean with BadCoyoteFunky.com. I'm here with Melissa and Scott from North Star Games, and we're checking out their game Evolution. So, take it away, guys.
You bet. So Evolution is basically a game of adaptation. You've got your little creature, you've got to adapt them to the changing environment and stay alive. So we'll go ahead and show you the beginning of the game here. It's a strategy game. So what we've tried really hard to do is just make the game so you sit down, you start playing with the basics, and it slowly builds until you build into the full game, and it gets into a pretty weighty strategy game once it's all flushed out. We want to make it really intuitive and simple to approach.
Cool.
So we'll start off. This is our boy Darwin over here. It's going to be our professor and our mentor as we go through this. Here's our watering hole where we come for food. This is our species right here. He's got to eat. If he doesn't eat, he starves. So he just went and took a food. Food is the win condition of the game. Whoever gets the most food wins. So we're going to adapt him to get more food. We're going to add a little bit more population. Every population he has, he can take another food. He must take another food or else he starves. But now we have some competition. Our competition has come to the watering hole to eat, and we're competing for food. There's not enough for both of us. We'll take one. It's his turn, and 2 of our population now went hungry. It was a rough day at the watering hole. So now we're going to adapt so we can eat faster. We're going to give our species a new trait. So we got this trait here, foraging. Foraging lets us take an additional food every time we eat. So we're going to put that on our little guy. We'll give him another population. And now we can eat a little faster. So once again, we're here against our friend up here. We get to go first. We're going to go. This time we take all the food. Our poor buddy up here is left hungry. That's the essence of the game. We're trying to. You like that extinction?
Yeah, that was kind of dark.
It is. It is. Nature is rough. It's not simple out there. That's the basics of the game. So here we are, and now we are going to manipulate the food supply. So in essence, we're trying to manipulate the food supply to help our little critters, but make sure that the other guy doesn't have enough food. So we want to maximize it essentially for our setup and our particular set of traits. So we'll start off. Let's play. We'll play 4 to the middle. So we put 4 food out there. That means we'll have 4 food after this is done. Let's make a carnivore. This is kind of fun. Rather than eat plant food, we can now transition and make our guy into a meat eater, which means we can actually attack our opponents and get food a little more aggressive ways, per se. But it follows the rules of the food chain. Just like in nature, you gotta be bigger than your prey. So we're too small right now, so we're gonna use this card and pump up our body size. We're now a body size 2, and our guy up here is just a body size 1, so we can attack him. We'll add another population, so we can eat a little bit more. This is demonstrating some of the actions of the game. We can undo. And we'll make another species here. We'll make another creature. Now we have 2. Now we have a plant eater and a meat eater. We'll end our turn, and let's see what our opponent here is going to do. So now it reveals our carnivore to him, striking fear into the heart of our opponents. We got 7 food out there. It looks like there's going to be plenty of food. Our opponent here is cooperating, so he's sharing food between the 2 of them. We'll come here. We're going to feed our plant eater. He goes and takes the plant. There you can see the cooperation where he shares the food between the 2.
Okay.
And now we're going to use our carnivore, and we're going to go pick off his poor plant eater here. And we get a meat food. And so at its core, it becomes a really tactical strategy game back and forth. They're trying to outfox your opponent, figure out what they're doing,
right,
and go back and forth. So that was a little demo version. We can show you the full game here.
So I'll even start the camera. So we were just looking at kind of like a 2-player demo mode. This looks like 4-player, full mode, 3 AI. So is this actually at some point going to be 4 players versus one another?
Yes.
Or it could be AI if you don't have enough people, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of what happens in this advanced mode? It's just survival of the fittest, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, so here we are. We've got 4 players now. This is the full game with all the complexity revealed. We got quite a few more traits that we're using here. and we're competing with everybody at this watering hole to see who can get the most food. Whoever gets the most food, obviously, is going to win at the end of the day. We got a couple things we're doing here. This is our advanced AI we're playing against. We're playing against 3 AI players. One of the beautiful things about this game is there's a lot of different ways to win. You know, the obvious one people always latch on to when they start is the carnivore. It's pretty aggressive. I go attack my opponents. The game's not really about that. It's actually just more about who can kind of efficiently adapt to what's going on and stay one step ahead of their opponents and where they're going. So you can also, here's a hard shell that buffs up your defense. You can just kind of bunker up, make a line of defenses, and just do your own little thing. A lot of people like to do an eating machine. Here's our long neck that goes and gets food from the trees. And this synergizes really well like cooperation. He goes and gets the food from the trees, gives it the cooperation. Cooperation shows to the next guy. You fed your entire chain of species. Cool. So we call that the machine, where you're just sucking up food as fast as you can, as efficiently as you can. There's a kind of a scavenger personality that just knows how to get by in really low food supplies. He can survive and thrive in the desert. He can generate his own food and doesn't need food from the watering hole anymore. So that's what we're working on now. We're working on adding in all these different, we're going to make them actually bosses in the game. We're making a campaign with bosses at the end of it, and you have to go up against these bosses and basically adapt your play style to figure out how to play against them and beat them.
And I don't want to spoil anything, but I got to ask, is there a boss in there that's a human?
Well, we do have a stretch goal, and so we're gonna launch the single player version beta in about a month now via Kickstarter. And that's going to be a closed beta. If anybody backs us in the Kickstarter, we'll get into it, and then we'll go ahead and close off that beta. We do have a stretch goal in there, the Dominic AI. He's the creator of the game and the designer. Rumor is he's never lost. And we've got a miniaturization technology. Right. We're going to shrink him and actually put him inside of everybody's computer.
You could also make him the meteor.
He's actually not, though. He tends to take more of a proliferation strategy and make a lot of species. And just outbreed you.
I was thinking like Magic the Gathering. Oh, he's a green player.
He actually is a Magic Pro player, is his background. Yeah. You can probably see some of the Magic background here and the synergies.
I see bits of it, for sure. And definitely that's one of the good examples of different ways you can build kind of a card.
I mean, it has some of that. Game. We wanted to be really clear and make this a much more accessible game where it's traits in nature, it's the beautiful art, it's a less overwhelming card set. There's just 17 traits. But there's really deep synergies between them.
Sure.
So it's not a collectible card game where you're on that endless money trail going and buying more cards, to get new content every week to be able to compete. And you have to know 100 cards and know what's going on. We wanted to make it so it is a board game, and it's something that somebody new can get into and come up to speed relatively quickly on.
Cool.
Yeah. So we are also, as part of the Kickstarter, so this is kind of, it's not announced yet, so it's a little bit of a secret, but we're also going to add a multiplayer as well from the proceeds from the Kickstarter. So we're doing a match-made multiplayer. Just click play now. We'll find some of your skill level and match you up, and hopefully have a great multiplayer community around the game as well.
Awesome. And what's do you have like an expected launch date? Roughly, you can say Q1 or anything like that. Or
we're not promising anything besides first half of next year right now. Okay. We're really focused right now on the closed beta. The launch is in a month. We want to get as many folks playing there, and we're really excited to get the game out there and start having people play it there. And then should have the full game with all the built-out content, the multiplayer, the campaign. We're putting challenges in there. All of that should be about first half of next year.
Awesome. Yeah. And you can still contribute to the Kickstarter, right?
You can. Yes. Kickstarter goes live September 12th.
That was a really big close-up.
Oh
yeah.
We're planning to launch on Steam, iOS, and Android. Pretty simultaneous release. Yeah. That's our goal.
Nice. So you can get it anywhere. If you get it early, you can play it.
Yes. Yeah, we're definitely encourage everyone to back the Kickstarter, because then you can get the game, you get immediate access to the beta. That's what everyone wants. Otherwise, you got to wait till next year.
Yeah, and everyone knows betas are awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of the beta?
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, thank you.
Melissa,
nice meeting you.
This is Evolution.
Yes.